Hello and welcome to Factory Default Build Trade Repeat Alpha Update 0.0.2.0. In this video, I'm going to take you through my patch notes and show you what has changed between now and 0.0.1.1, including the addition of contracts, tilemap zooming and panning, ways to quickly switch between countries, as well as many small changes to UI and gameplay. Here we go. Right off the bat, you will notice that the UI has been consolidated to the bar at the bottom of the screen. The number one feedback I have gotten so far on my game is that the UI is a bit overwhelming. Hopefully this layout, inspired by city skylines, is a little easier to take in. The menus are in the same order, and while you get used to a more minimal style, you can hover over the buttons to see what they are for. Let's visit the new menu, Contracts. On the first of every year, 10 new contracts will appear in the Contracts menu. A contract requires you to deliver the goods to the specified country, for a specified time frame, for a specified price. Any item in the game, as well as any country, has the possibility to be part of a contract. You've had good luck if you get a contract for something mined or farmed that happens to be in the country of its fertility. Contract terms can be for 1 to 12 years. Payout is 5 times the value of that item in that country. The delivery process is simple. Just have that item sitting in that country's warehouse, and the contract will take from the warehouse daily. Any contract, active or available, will lock that item in that country from being traded on the market. Managers in the country can still sell, but the player can't just buy items in the contracted country. Because of this, it is generally good to reject contracts you don't intend on accepting, just so you can free that item up in the market. Accepting a contract means that starting January 1st of the following year, you are expected to fulfill your contract daily until the term ends. Once you accept, if you should change your mind, you will have to pay a cancellation fee. The cancellation fee is much cheaper if you cancel before the contract starts. After it begins, the price will be substantially larger. Failure to fulfill your contract will incur daily penalties that will have to be settled when the contract completes. The penalties can pile on to a maximum price of the entire value of the contract. If this happens, the contract will turn red, and those penalties, instead of hitting the contract, will be fined from your bank account directly. So not only is your contract payout zero, but you are getting fined daily from it. When a contract is complete, you can collect the agreed price, minus penalties. If you are wanting more contracts, you can spend influence to clear the available contracts and generate 10 more. Price starts at 1 influence and multiplies by 10 every time. The cost resets on the first of every year. On the left of every contract will be a letter rating, giving you an idea of the general difficulty and/or payout. Starting at D, going through C, B, A, S, S+, S++, and the elusive S+++. Lower rated contracts are going to be more plentiful, but many might not seem worth the effort. And some of the higher difficulty contracts might seem impossible. Without substantial work beforehand, some might actually be, like a contract for 1,000 tons of emeralds per day. Emerald mines can only mine 0.001 tons of emerald per day, so unless you have a stash beforehand, that would likely be impossible. Once I am done going through all the new features in this update, I will take a contract from beginning to end so that you can see the possible process. If you have seen this game before, you might notice that there is a new color tile. The orange tiles are for mines only. This also means that mines can no longer be placed on green tiles. The placement of the orange tiles is based on the real-life topography of each country, orange being mountainous areas. Obviously, in real life, mountains are not required for mines and would actually cause a lot of problems depending on the goal of the mine, but at this point, they are a video game trope, and I'm going to embrace it. Moving on. As you just saw, you are now able to zoom and pan within the country tile map. I did this for 2 reasons. 1, so you can have the smaller countries fill up more of the screen if you like, or 2, if you want to get a better view of some of the bigger countries. It can be tough to see with the tiles being so small. Panning default is WASD, or hold down the middle mouse button and move your cursor. Zoom default, scroll middle mouse button forward to zoom in, scroll backwards to zoom out. Pretty standard, and you can change the controls in the settings menu if you like. One major feature that I had put a lot of work into, and have now removed, is the neighbor bonus from all tile types. If you are unaware, in previous versions of the game, buildings producing the same resource would get a bonus from one another. This gave the game a bit of a puzzle aspect that I intended to be a key strategic element, but I think there's enough of that elsewhere in the game. I removed this feature for a couple of reasons. The first of which is that the neighbor bonus is the cause of quite a lot of calculations. Every time you place a tile, it needs to figure out if they are neighbors or not. You will notice in earlier versions of the game, if you have many different types of items being generated in a country, and you exit or enter that country, it takes a bit of time. It should be much more snappy now. More importantly, it doesn't make any sense if you consider how a business would work in real life. Why would there be an efficiency bonus to two factories producing the same products next to one another? Perhaps they could consolidate ordering and deliveries, and maybe employees, but that would be it. If I was to re-implement a neighbor bonus, it would only make sense if it were buildings that fed into one another, like putting a refinery that makes copper ingots next to a factory that makes copper rods. That would make some sense since there would be no delivery time in real life. A side effect of this is I had to adjust the building levels of the buildings you start with so that you are still making a profit when you start a new game. Another new feature is the ability to adjust a building's individual efficiency. Within the building's info panel, the slider to control the number of employees in a building is now adjustable. More employees will increase efficiency with diminishing returns. Reducing employees will have a sharp reduction in efficiency. This was mostly done as a solution to when you are only off by a 10 or 2 and you need to sneak in just a bit more production out of buildings without having to build another one. I also added an additional manager instruction. Before this update, all managers were able to do was sell resources that wouldn't fit into the warehouses, basically making them useless until your inventory filled up. Now there is another setting a manager can be set to, and that is empty. When a manager is set to empty, they will keep your warehouse clear of that item, selling it as soon as it is made. This allows for the player to passively earn money on resources that have no hope of filling a warehouse, like emeralds for example. To change a manager from full to empty, simply visit the manager menu, and with the correct country selected, click on a manager that is green and labeled full. It will automatically turn the text orange and say empty. Done! Click the managers button again to fire them. Note, if you need to take a manager from full to fired and don't want to empty your warehouse, you have a couple of options. Number 1, you can double click really fast and hope for the best. This is not recommended. Number 2, you can set the play speed to 0 and make the necessary changes. Number 3, visit the country and click on a tile that is making the resource you want to manage. You can fire the manager from here or even switch from another manager state. Another note, since resource generation and resource usage take place in the same tick, you don't need to worry about your manager accidentally selling resources you need in other recipes. The managers sell after the items are used. Moving away from features and switching to more quality of life aspects, I have noticed while playing the game that switching back and forth between multiple countries is a bit of a drag. Returning to the globe, rotating around, and finding and clicking on the country you're trying to get to. Then, if you are setting up a trade route, having to go back. It's too much, so I created 2 ways to make this easier. Number 1, favorite country quick switching. If you have a country and you would like to be able to return to it quickly, you can swap to it by adding it to one of 10 hotkeys. By default, the way to assign a hotkey is, while in the country, hold left control key and press any number on the keypad, 0 through 9. Then, by pressing that same number key anywhere on the globe, you will open that country. Both the assigning and trigger keys can be changed in the options menu. Favorite countries is part of your save file and not user options. Okay, that is the first of 2 ways to switch quickly. The second way is my preferred method. I have added a search function to the tab key. This allows you to search quickly by typing any part of a country name. Once you have results, you can click on your desired location, or you can hit tab again and arrow to where you want to go and hit enter. This is particularly useful if geography is not your strong suit, but the search bar does slightly more than that. Want to look up an item in the library? Search here and open up its library entry. That brings us to the last of the new quality of life features, and that is the ability to complete researches through the library menu. Currently, the research menu is very hard to read, so there needed to be an easier way to get your researches done. While in the library entry, you'll be able to see if you have the correct technology unlocked to produce that item. If so, it will be green. If not, it will be red with a button next to it. If all prerequisites are met, it will show you how much unlocking the research costs. If you have enough research points, you can click this button to unlock it. Just note that doing it this way means you skip seeing what other items the research unlocks. That's it for new features, but I should mention some large bugs that were fixed from the previous versions really quick. Fixed game crashing when turning on loan interest payments in the newsfeed. Fixed issue with upgrading the building's tooltip not updating after applying upgrade. Fixed issue with researches carrying over from previous save if you want to start a new game. Fixed issue with management screen, sometimes clicking on one item would activate a different one. Now that all the patch notes are complete, I want to show you what it might look like to complete a contract from beginning to end. Since contracts can be anything in the game, for any country, writing a script for this part would be too difficult, so you'll have to bear with me as improvising is not my strong suit. Starting now. Let's start a new game. We're going to turn story off and we're going to leave this blank. This is just for the purposes of completing a contract from beginning to end. Let's see. That isn't too terrible. Copper ingots, 2 tons of copper ingots in Germany. And Germany has copper. Okay, but we need open pit mining and we need basic metal forming. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and accept that. And let's generate another set of contracts. Oh, I don't have any influence. Should probably fix that. Okay. Let's do, we've got hydrogen and styrofoam. More copper ingots, eh? Let's take that because I'm already going to be making those. It's too much lithium. That's a good start. And what is this? This is Egypt. Okay. So I need 52 copper ingots coming out of, do they have copper as well? Okay. Let's go ahead and go there. So we're going to go to Egypt and we're going to build a mine, but we don't have any of our stuff. So let's grab some influence. I'm going to grab 100. And I'm also going to grab a couple of loans here because this is expensive. We're going to build a mine and we still need open pit mining. I know for a fact we don't have any research to do that. So we're going to build a lab and we're going to hire some folks to generate some research for us. We're also going to open the objectives and grab everything they've given us so far. So we do have a little bit of research now. So I'm going to grab open pit mining requires quarrying. So let's do that. And let's get our mine going here. Copper ore. How much does that give us? It gives us 30 per day. So let's build another mine. And we'll just assume that 90 is going to be a good start. So we also need to refine 2 copper ingots, which we need basic metal forming. How much does that cost us? Basic metal forming requires basic alloying, which we'll take. Basic metal forming requires 75, which I don't quite have yet. That is okay. Let's just speed up time really fast. Okay. So we have what we need. I'm actually going to turn this down so I don't have to deal with that costing me money. Research basic metal forming. We're going to grab our refinery and do copper ingots. Now I'm only making 10 a day and I know I need 52. So let's make a couple of these. Let's call it 60. And so Egypt needs 50 and Germany needs 2. 2 tons a day. For a very long time. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a train station here. And we're going to go to And we're going to build a train station here. We're going to go back to Egypt. And we're going to send some copper ingots there. We're just going to do it one time. We're just going to send what we have. Okay. So here, we're still generating a lot. Why don't we go ahead and send one whenever we have a full, well, actually that's not really going to work. Let's build a warehouse so that we can store all this stuff. How much does Germany have right now? We've got 100. Okay, that's going to last us not very long. And that was my mistake because I didn't put a warehouse here to receive the shipment. Okay, so let's go ahead and send some more. It's a little expensive to send like this, but we're going to do it anyway. So we just sent, oops, that's France. We are sending 2,800. That should last 1,400 days, which should be good enough to start. Which is good because our contracts begin very shortly. So let's return to Egypt since that's the one that's going to be kind of absorbing the most of our production here, and we can kind of watch as our contract begins. All right, it's the first of the year. We are fulfilling our contract. I know this because our penalty is not climbing. And if we look at our inventory, you'll see it's only going up by 10 at a time. That's because we're generating 50 and our contract is taking, we're generating 60 and our contract is taking 50. If we check on Germany, we'll see that we're not generating any and we're going down by 2 every day. Beautiful. Now, if I wanted to, I could break these contracts. This contract is very expensive, and for good reason. It's a $2 billion contract, and this one is a $175 million contract. That is considerably cheaper to break. I'm not going to break it because it looks like I can easily fulfill it. I will say I'm going to need more copper ingots here. 2,800 times 2 is going to be 5,600, and I know I have way less than that. So once Egypt fills up, I will send some more to Germany. In fact, let's do that right now. Now, let's go ahead and send some to Germany. Now I think, okay, good. I was worried that with an empty warehouse we were going to get a penalty, but we did not. So let's look at our contracts here. Ooh, this is a good one. Copper ore in Iran. I don't know. It looks like it is available there. 30 tons. So that would mean to make 900, I would need 30. 30 mines. I'm gonna bet that Iran does not have that many tiles. Ooh, it might be close. You know what? Let's do it. It's an 11-year contract. Okay, that's fine. Let's do it. Some of these contracts, while they do have a nice payout, oftentimes you're gonna spend more money just making the buildings and the transport. More than you would even get from the contract. But once the contract is done, then it's all in place and you can just sell all your extra goods, which is good. So I need 900 tons a day in Iran. I think we can probably do that. I definitely don't have enough influence for that, so let's buy some. All right, let's throw down a mine here, and we want copper ore. So we're doing 30 a day. I'm just going to paint some more on here. And I'm out of influence. Ooh, influence is certainly something to watch, particularly the more countries you expand to. So let's throw down a couple warehouses. I'm also gonna hire a manager so that we can actually pull some money out of this. And let's also, how's Germany doing? I think we have enough to make it to the end. We do not. Not quite. Okay. so let's go back to Egypt. We're going to send another shipment of ingots. This will be the last one. And that way, Germany is set. This country is set. And we are actually using every bit of copper that we generate, so that's just fine. Let's return to Iran because I did not finish setting up. Oh, I did actually. So we're at 1,000 and we're gonna make we're gonna use 900 for the contract. So once that starts, we should start fulfilling that contract. So here's an example of a contract you probably wouldn't want to bother with. 8 tons of feldspar in Brazil only gives you 750,000. Maybe if you already like have a mine in Brazil, or you just happen to have extra of this stuff, it could be worth it, but otherwise it's usually not going to be. Okay. So this contract has begun. It's ending in 4,000 days. That's quite the run. Okay. What I would like to do is find a contract that's very short so we can look at what it looks like when it's actually complete. So let's do that. This is a 1-year contract for rare earth metals in China. This is 1 year for 20,000 units of cases of cabbage. Let's not do that. So let's see. Rare earth metals. 7 tons of rare earth metals. I could have swore that just said 1. Maybe I'm crazy. 1 year, 7 tons, China. Let's see. China does have that, and it is a 200% output. With a 3-ton recipe, that is going to be really easy. So underground mining, I do need 150 more research points to do that. So let's go to China. We're going to build a research lab. I know I already have a research lab in another country, but it's just, I'm already here. And we also want to mine, we'll just set the mine up now. And then I'm going to open this up again. Underground mining is what I need. So once we have 150, I'm going to research that. Don't forget to actually accept the contract, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. Oh goodness. Okay, I'm going to slow down time because this contract starts in 16 days. I'm going to go to the news tab and hope that some of this is going to give us research. It sure did. Let's go to the research. Let's get that research. We're going to act a little bit fast otherwise. And I'm just going to go ahead and make 2 of these. It's more than I need, but I can always sell the excess with the manager. Okay, so now we almost missed it, but we are now going to be able to fulfill that contract. Okay, oh, we are not. What happened? Rare earth metals, is that not what I'm making? Oh no! I'm so bad with flags. Oh no! It's Turkey. Oh boy. Okay, hold on. Let's slow down. The penalty is pretty much maxed out. Oh no. Okay. What we need to do is we're just gonna make an airport and we're gonna go to Turkey. 2 entries for Turkey. Okay. And we're going to make an airport, and we're going to return to China, and we're going to, as soon as we have a full load, just send it. It's expensive, but like, it's going to be cheaper than paying the daily fine, which is going to come from this. Okay, so now we are fulfilling this contract. We're only going to make like 200 million. We're going to make 200 million from this. That's brutal. And we may as well just sell when we're full. Oh no! That is not good. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. We need to generate more of this. Okay. Hopefully that evens out, and hopefully we're not too terribly behind. Oh, we're gonna make 130 million. That's okay. That's okay. As long as we keep the shipment's coming in. My problem is I don't have a warehouse here, so it's just sending it and emptying out. That's what happens. Okay, well, this is going to finish up, and then we can see what it looks like when we finish a contract. And also what it looks like when we don't make very much money from a contract because we are bad at knowing what flags are. I saw the red and I saw the star, and I just assumed. Okay, the contract is complete. We can collect the payment, which is not very much. 142 million, that's fine. Okay. As you can see, contracts can make the game go a little bit fast-paced if you're not paying attention. But here we go. So I ran for some wood. Let's just do that. So you just got to pay attention. Because it is very easy to make a mistake and not realize that you are in the wrong country. Let's do some wood here, and that's 65 a day. That's fine. That's going to more than fulfill our needs. Egypt is oh no, it's not almost full, but when it is full, let's sell that. Okay. So we are making a profit now, which is cool. Turkey, do you have a manager for this? You probably don't. Let's just make it empty so I can make money right away. All right, yeah, we're making $1 million a day just by setting up some contracts. Well, you know, it goes down once you have to pay delivery fees and you make sales, it goes up. So we're making about $1 million a day, and that's just from setting up our contracts and the contracts completing, and we're still left with the infrastructure we built. So hopefully this has been a little bit instructive on how the contracts work, and that's going to be it. Okay, now for my scripted ending. Thank you so much for watching my update video. I plan on making one for all non-bug fixing updates going forward. Right now, my 2 goals for the next update are: number 1, combing through all the items and doing a balance pass. Productions are all over the place, and they don't really work cohesively at the moment. I will also be adding different sized units, as right now a unit is 1/200th of a ton, so 5 kilograms. In the game, both circuit boards and electric vehicles are both measured in units, meaning they are both 5 kilograms. That doesn't work at all. I have a plan. My second goal is to rework the research tree so that it makes actual sense to look at. Again, I have a plan. Thanks again for watching, and if you want to check out Factory Default Build Trade Repeat version 0.0.2.0, you can do so for free at searchat.itch.io/fd. Take care.